Good morning, Canada. Welcome to another episode of News on the Go. I'm your host, Terry Kilakos. So the big news this week was the announcement by the Bank of Canada yesterday, which basically maintained the key overnight rate. The interesting thing is that this is the first time where we are actually seeing a divergence between the Canadian and the US monetary policy. You may ask, why is that happening? Well, there's a couple of reasons, but one of the main ones is that the Canadian economy is not doing as well as people think it is. The US economy is actually a lot stronger, and I think that the Bank of Canada is actually a bank with an agenda. In other words, they're actually purposely trying to make the Canadian dollar weaken. How are they doing that? Well, by actually lowering or keeping the key overnight rate low, what it actually does is it triggers the Canadian dollar to actually fall. Why is that good? It's good for exports, it's good for manufacturing sector, it's good for a whole bunch of stuff. It's not good for you and I when we want to go down to Florida and spend our Canadian dollars, but it's actually good for the economy. Now, a lot of my clients have been asking me, Terry, I don't understand something. We're seeing the fixed rates going up, but yet the government is keeping interest rates low. Well, you gotta understand, there's a big distinction or a big difference between the 5-year fixed rates, 4-year fixed rates, and variable rates and prime rates. Okay, so the prime rate is actually impacted by the Bank of Canada's rate, the overnight rate. So when you have the Bank of Canada rate, which is the key overnight rate, the banks will actually add a little bit of a premium to that, bringing you to the prime rate. And then depending on what kind of a mortgage you've set up, you'll either have a discount or you'll have a premium on top of that. So this is how the variable rates are calculated. When you're looking at fixed rates are actually based on bonds. And historically, what we tend to see is this time of year, the bond rates tend to change, which causes interest rates to go up. The good news is that we tend to see them fall off again come January, February of the coming year as the buying season kicks in and banks start to become a little bit more competitive with one another. So there's a lot more that you can read about on our website. You can go to northeastmortgages.ca/blog. I wrote a whole interesting story about it.